This is a short video about The Witcher. Everybody knows Henry Cavill is not going to be The Witcher anymore. And I saw this video come out, and I put it on my watch later, so I figured I'd take a look at it.
So, over the weekend, some Netflix Witcher news that shook the world to its very core was released. Henry Cavill, the show's leading actor, is leaving the role of Geralt after the already filmed Season 3 and will be replaced moving forward by Liam Hemsworth, who of course is most well known for his cameo in Season 1, Episode 3 of the 2015 Muppet series.
Oh yeah,
However, the
I remember
replacement
that.
for Henry is really just a footnote to this story right now, which I think says a lot about the real reaction most fans are having to all of this.
Yeah.
Henry announced his departure over on Instagram and ended his post with a line I think is important. He said, "I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt, and with enthusiasm to see Liam's take on this most fascinating and nuanced of men."
That
The
seems
key
fine.
word there is nuance, a core element of Geralt's character and the world of The Witcher, and unfortunately a concept the Netflix show is totally unfamiliar with. While no official reason has been publicly given for his departure, it is known that Henry made this decision because he felt like it was time to move on. And more
Well,
importantly,
how's that known? How's that known? Like, is this just one of the things where, like, one person says it and then everybody else says it because he said it? I feel like, is this... He got fed up? Yeah, but interviews? He announced he's going back to play Superman. He said it himself. They pressured him to resign. He got paid more for Superman, that's it? I know because you know. Yeah, true. I mean, that's what he said. All right.
anyone that's even been sort of paying attention can piece together why this happened, and honestly, it's sad for more reasons than one. Going into the very first season, before the script had even been written, Henry Cavill campaigned for this role because of his love for the series and this character.
Yeah, of course.
When watching interviews and press for the show over the past few years, Henry's genuine enthusiasm for the source material has always been clear as day, and equally obvious have been his frustrations with the writing of the show he's been starring in for the past 3 years. He's always kept it professional, of course, but he can only do so much, and it was not even a year ago where Henry very publicly said that he is committed to doing the planned 7 seasons of the Netflix Witcher on one condition. That condition being that the writers can manage to tell great stories while honoring the source material this show is apparently meant to be based on. Now,
oh, okay, well that actually does fucking indicate something, doesn't it? Let's read this again. He also has The Witcher Season 3. The actor remains committed to supporting their vision to keep The Witcher going for each several season. Absolutely, he says, and this is a quote, right? This isn't some kind of fucking, you know, like, oh yeah, this is an interpretation of what he said. As long as we can keep telling great stories which honor Sapkowski's work. So, guess, I wonder what the odds are that a Netflix series isn't going to honor the original content of which the series is built off of. I wonder what the probability on that is. Oh, I don't fucking know. Probably 99%. Yeah, this is it. Bailing before the shitstorm hit. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. We can do better. Yeah, of course. And which Wings of Power Fiasco 2? I think that whenever I get caught up on The Witcher and I watch the new series with Liam Hemsworth, I'm gonna try to give it an honest. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm not gonna go into it expecting for it to be garbage or anything like that. I will go into it honestly without a fucking bias or anything crazy like that. I think that's what's fair. But damn, I think this is pretty telling. It certainly is. It's because the writers expressed they don't like the main plot of The Witcher from the books and games. Why are they making a Witcher series? That's like you make a Lord of the Rings series. You're like, yeah, but that shit with like Sauron and that ring and like, bro, that's so dumb. Like, let's talk more about the dwarves. What are the hobbits up to? Let's make it a comedy with the Hobbits starring Samwise, which, to be fair, probably would be pretty good. But holy fuck, man. Wow.
Now, when this news dropped on Saturday, the reaction I saw almost everywhere was total shock, with much of that shock coming from devastated fans. If I'm being honest, my reaction was kind of the opposite.
I was pretty surprised. I didn't expect this to happen.
I was not particularly surprised.
I
There were
was.
rumors of this over a year ago that people kind of ignored because they didn't like it. And after season 2, I really struggled to see Henry sticking around for the long haul. And when I saw the headline this Saturday, my first thought towards Henry's decision was, good for you. There was also
Good
the news
for
that
you.
many of you have probably already heard. Henry will be stepping back into the role of Superman in a major way in the future, but don't kid yourself, he wouldn't have left a role he campaigned so hard for if this show weren't the fantasy equivalent of Dexter Season 8. It's not hard to put the pieces together of what really happened here when you compare the absolute travesty that was Season 2 with the genuine reverence Henry has for the books.
See, isn't it so great for me that I never watched season 2? I only saw season 1. And I loved season 1. I thought it was amazing. I watched it twice. I watched it one time, like with myself, and I watched a bit of it with Izzy too. And then I watched it with my mom after that. It was fucking amazing. I love season 1. So I never got to see what happened with the show. Season 2 wasn't that bad. Yeah, but that's not a good way to say that it was good, though.
Despite the straw man arguments I see all the time, Netflix Witcher has never ever been a situation where you have an on-screen adaptation of a book series that changes some necessary things when moving from the page to screen. No, this has always been, from day one, but especially with season 2, a situation where you have a great core story with nuanced characters and a room of writers who think they can do better.
And I also want to keep in mind that whenever you say a room of writers who think they can do better, my understanding is Sapkowski is not even a fan of the Witcher games because he feels like the Witcher games deviated from the books a lot as well. Am I right about that? I've heard this before, and I've read things about this, but I just want to clarify to make sure that, yeah, he's an asshole. Yeah, the guy that wrote the books is an asshole. What a surprise. And so, yeah, that's true. So it's not even, the problem is not that you're deviating from the story. The problem is that the deviation is bad. Like, they deviated from Fight Club, and it was good. So they've deviated from other movies. They deviated from the Lord of the Rings books, and it was good. Like, Gandalf says, keep it secret, keep it safe. He comes back. Is it safe? Yeah, it sure is, Gandalf. Weren't you just here 5 minutes ago? Actually, no, it's been 19 years. But guess what? Nobody gives a fuck in the book, or sorry, in the movie, so it's totally fine. There are many things that they just kind of glossed over. You know, there's no scouring of the Shire. There's nothing like that. And it just made the movies probably a little bit better, potentially, so nobody complained. So it's not about, I've said this like 50 fucking times, it's not about whether there's a deviation or not. It's about whether the deviation is good. And it seems like it's not.
It was just a couple of weeks ago when a former writer from the Netflix Witcher team said in an interview that some of the writers' room, I would guess most, actively disliked the books and would take to mocking them constantly.
Oh, you have to respect the work before you're allowed to add to its legacy. Not if you are a writer for a contemporary show. Look at what happened with Halo, right? They did the same thing with Halo. I don't understand why it's so hard for these places to not just take the source material and make it a movie. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, you have the easiest job in the world. You just, all you have to do, like, you just have to do the same thing. Like, that's it. But no. It's got to be something special. They didn't even play Halo when they made a show about it. It's nuts, man. Showrunners is too egotistical not to make something of their own. It's sad. Because people that take something that's really, like, I think making a faithful adaptation of something is, like, I think that's very noteworthy and that's very impressive. Like, I don't think that it's diminutive to say that somebody just adapted something. It's incredible whenever somebody does that. Like, for example, you know, like Dredd, 2012 Dredd. That was fucking insane. And a lot of that was the same. And then also, you know what? You know, a fucking amazing example of this is Robert Rodriguez, who directed Sin City. They lifted the exact text from the graphic novel into the movie. The scenes and everything. And Robert Rodriguez is a fucking legend. So it's just 300. Yeah, 300 too. It's so dumb, man. Yeah, Game of Thrones season 1 through 5. Yes, exactly. It went right along. I don't understand how these people are like they're own goaling themselves so hard.
That shouldn't come as a surprise considering what Season 2 was, but I find it sort of embarrassing when you look at the final product. I always get the impression that a lot of people that aren't familiar with the books think it's an exaggeration when it's said that Season 2 was not really even an adaptation, but that is just the truth. Objectively speaking, no opinion here, apart from character and location names, 90+% of the second season had absolutely nothing to do with the book it was marketed as adapting. And the real crime there, and this part is an opinion of course, is that absolutely everything they replaced was done so with something drastically worse. In no way did they make any improvements to what they thought they could do better than. Bringing that concept back around to Henry, I just can't imagine having that real strong desire and sense of responsibility to tell these stories the way they deserve to be told, and then having to show up on set every day watching these beloved characters get butchered.
Well, yeah, you just get to fucking watch this and it's just ridiculous. Like that's how you get depression. It's nuts. Sapkowski hated the game strictly because he said people began to believe that the books were not being put on the back end as books are being considered add-on material and not source material, and the game was the true source material. Well, I don't know. I mean, all I'm saying is that, like, the guy was negative about the games as well. And my understanding was that the games were a large deviation from the books in many ways. So, again, I don't know the extent of this. I have not read all of the books. This is just what I've read about the topic.
It's just such a shame because with proper writing, Henry as Geralt could have been a casting for the ages, meaning something that could be looked back upon for years and years. It was pretty perfect, especially when you consider the passion involved on his end. And there has always been an element of frustration for me watching Henry give the role his all in service of writing that makes Peppa Pig look deep and profound.
Why does he have a dick nose?
I hate to be so blunt because I don't like being negative. There's a reason that for Season 2 I made one short review, and that was that.
It's
no follow-ups because I had no desire to put any more energy into something I did not enjoy. That said, it is so frustrating as a Witcher fan to watch this show chew up and spit out one of the only good things about it. There's no resentment towards Henry here, and there shouldn't be from anyone. Season 2 had already taken the show to a point I felt was beyond saving without some sort of miracle in the writer's room.
I think it's probably true. Like, it's better to not have a show than have a show that's bad. That's definitely true.
Completely destroyed several core relationships that are foundational to the rest of the story, and that's why I'm not acting like the show is only now in trouble because of his departure. The writing is and always has been the problem, and Henry Cavill there as Geralt or not, no actor is going to be able to overcome what the cast of The Witcher have been working with. I have seen absolutely no hate towards Cavill for his choice, which in my opinion is the proper stance. Yes, he's the one that left the show, but his hand was forced. He's a very in-demand actor. Why would he want to commit another half-decade of his career to this? That's not even to mention...
Yeah, exactly, because it's going to make him look bad. Like, there have been movies, like, I mean, obviously, like, you know, Jim Carrey with the Cable Guy back in the 90s that, like, really hurt actors' careers. You know, like, fucking... the Tropic Thunder reference, right? Who was it? Fucking I Am Sam? I forgot even who did that one. See, so that's kind of what I'm... Yeah, Hayden Christensen, I'm not sure about him. But, yeah, you don't see him anymore. Superman... Sean Penn, there you go. Superman movies aren't exactly good. That's because the source material for Superman is fucking garbage. Superman's a one-dimensional, boring character. Man of Steel is the best Superman movie they've ever made, and I still thought it was like a B movie. It's not his fault. It's the same reason why I think Batman is just a way more interesting character. I think Thor is a way more interesting character, too. How about She-Hulk? I didn't watch that. Yeah, it's not his fault that Superman is fucking boring.
Mention that I wouldn't at all be surprised if Netflix didn't want to pay what he's worth to the show, because contracts were up for renegotiations for Season 4. I will say, you gotta wonder what this decision says about the upcoming season with Henry, which is Season 3. Is it just more of the same? Because if so, that's already enough to totally understand the choice. But if it's somehow worse, then I'm honestly going to be somewhat impressed in a sort of cynical way.
I think that it will be worse. If people didn't like Season 2, the odds are that whenever things start circling the drain, they start speeding up. I bet it's going to be worse.
Witcher show should have been the next Game of Thrones, a real cultural fantasy phenomenon. But now us fans, at least the ones that don't particularly like the show, are just stuck waiting for the next attempt. Barring a divine miracle in the writer's room the likes of which have never been seen, then better luck next time, I guess. Well, that is it for today. Thank you, by the way, for 50,000 subscribers. The channel turned a year old this month, and we also hit 50K last week, which is pretty cool. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like as it helps to get my content out there. Thanks for watching, let me know what you make of all of this, and I will see you in the next one.
That was, I think, pretty fair, right? He was talking about a lot of this stuff, and I'm glad he added, like, the actual quotes from Henry Cavill actually talking about this himself, rather than it just being some sort of assumption or something like that. Is it confirmed Liam Hemsworth is the Season 4 Witcher? Yeah, he is. If Season 2 is bad, Rings of Power was the worst shit, I don't know. Like, we'll have to see. But I think it depends on, like, you know, if Season 3 is really bad, I think that there's a pretty good indicator that that's what it is. House of the Dragon did a good job with their adaptation. I've heard a lot of... Somebody said that House of the Dragon is a really good show because people aren't constantly talking about it on social media. Like, implying that, like, normal people... If the show is stupid enough to get normal people excited about it, it's probably not very good. I have no idea. I've heard that the show is good. I have not heard from anybody who's watched it that I know that it's bad. Yeah, that was impressive because, to be honest, I thought it was going to be garbage. Like, my assumption with fucking House of the Dragon was it was going to be literal fucking garbage. Because I just assumed that it would be, because whenever they went off script with Game of Thrones, it turned into garbage. So why wouldn't the same thing happen with House of the Dragon? So, yeah, that's kind of what I assumed, but I'm glad that's not happening. I mean, I really liked Game of Thrones. I thought Game of Thrones was awesome. So I'm glad to see more content about it. Saying, but actually, it's good. Yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Everyone can appreciate Henry for this. Fight for things you love, get nothing back. It's time to move on. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like... I don't know. I still think the first season was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Second season, I mean, I guess one day I'll have to watch it and see. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably watch whenever I get caught up with it. I'll watch the new season with the new guy, and you know, if it's good, I'll enjoy it, and if it's not, then I guess I won't. That's about it for me. I don't want to make a make a commitment on this. You know what I mean?